What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jim Master here, bringing you another topic of discussion. And for today's video, I want to focus on the great, the almighty Tim Duncan. Now, most of you may already know, but this past Thursday, Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs were finally eliminated by the Oklahoma City Thunder. And but to their credit, most of the series was very, very close, very entertaining. And there were only a handful of games that got out of hand, one of them being the last game. But the reason I'm talking about this is that Tim Duncan was not playing like we know Tim Duncan to play. If we look back at this series as a whole, in Game 1, the Spurs handled the Thunder easily, winning 124 to 92, I think it was. But Duncan, he didn't perform how we would imagine Duncan to perform. He only got 8 points, only 2 rebounds. That is not the Tim Duncan that we grew up knowing and loving. In Game 2 went into OKC's favor, but it was by a few unfavorable circumstances to San Antonio, being that the end of the game was concluded by a botched call by the refs. It was a clear offensive foul. You can go look up the video. I might put the video in this video, but it was a clear botched call by the refs. But with that being said, Tim Duncan still didn't do a lot to help his team. He had 7 rebounds, which is fine, but only was able to score 2 points. He only scored 2 points, which is not the Tim Duncan that we know and love. Now, the third and fourth game were split between San Antonio and OKC. San Antonio won Game 3, 100 to 96. And OKC won Game 4, 111 to 97. But Duncan still underperformed in both of these games. In Game 3, he only got 2 points once again. And in Game 4, check this out, he didn't score a single point. A single point, not one, not even a free throw in that game. Now moving forward to the fifth game. The fifth game went into OKC's favor again, 95 to 91. Duncan still came up short with his team, shooting 1 for 6 with only 5 points. And finally, in Game 6, this is where the Thunder ended the series. The Thunder came out firing, taking the series 4-2, and dominating the Spurs with a 113 to 99 score. And to Duncan's credit, he finally showed some life in this game. Believe it or not, he showed some life in this elimination game. He still came out and played. He scored 19 points, but it still wasn't enough to help his team stop Durant and Westbrook, and Steve Adams for that matter. So because of Duncan's poor performance, a lot of people are questioning whether he should be still playing or whether he should play in the future. And again, for the people who don't think that Duncan should retire, yes, a lot of people are just focusing on his points he's averaged in this last series, which isn't fair because he had a reasonably good season. I don't think it was a great season, but a lot of people still think that he has some left in the tank just because of this past season. But looking into the postseason, historically, Duncan has never averaged less than 15 points. But in this series against OKC, he averaged 5 points. Now back to the naysayers who say that Duncan shouldn't retire because of his season performance. We go back and look at Duncan's past performances in the Well, after the 2013 finals, if we look at his numbers as far as points, Duncan averaged 17 points in 2013. In 2014, he declined 2 points, only averaging 15 points. In 2015, he dropped another 2 points, only averaging 13. And this past season, he's only averaged 8 points. So if we're going solely off points, there's no argument, no legitimate argument that can say that Duncan is still producing the way that he has before. And I'm sure that is so heartbreaking for a lot of Spurs fans and for me, because I personally want Duncan to get the 6th ring, because I want somebody else to be on that level with Michael Jordan as far as rings. Everybody talks about, Kobe has 5 and Jordan has 6. I want somebody else to enter that conversation to make it a little bit more interesting rather than just 2 players. But so I feel for the Spurs fan that want Duncan to keep playing. I want him to keep playing. But the numbers don't really bode well for him to produce and to win another championship. But to their credit, Popovich and Duncan have came from a lot worse. They've done the unthinkable in some seasons. They've overcame adversity, and I totally hope that that's the case, that they can beat this. But as of now, what I'm thinking is that it doesn't look too good for Tim Duncan and the Spurs Nation. But I want to know what you all think. Should Duncan retire, or should he give it another shot and try to get that 6th ring, beating out Kobe? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Check me out later for more hot topics in sports. And this is your boy Jim Master signing out. Peace.